I was the duty officer on the embassy's lowest level when the breach alarm went off, which meant I was the one with the override key, and I was the one who had to be the first person through the panic room door once the hostiles were inside the perimeter. That was the job. I'd trained for it for 2 years and never once expected to actually do it. 6 armed operatives from a separatist faction calling itself the Kesran Remnant had taken the embassy's East Wing in under 90 seconds, moving with the kind of coordination that told me this wasn't an improvised grab. Somebody had planned this for months, knew the floor plan, knew the guard rotation, knew exactly which 3 staff members to take as leverage. What they didn't know, because it wasn't in any briefing they could have stolen, was that the ambassador's family had brought a dog with them to this posting. A Doberman named Cassius, registered with embassy security as a companion animal, filed under a threat classification that didn't account for what he actually was. I reached the panic room corridor with my override key already out, expecting to be the first thing standing between the hostiles and the people inside. Cassius was already there. He'd gotten loose from the residence wing sometime in the first 30 seconds of the breach. Nobody's ever been able to explain exactly how. The residence door was locked, and he was standing in the corridor between the panic room and the approaching hostiles with his whole body angled forward, ears flat, utterly silent. No barking. Dobermans don't waste the warning when the moment's already past warning. I'd read the breed profile in his file once, out of curiosity, months earlier. Bred originally as a personal protection animal for a German tax collector who needed something that could intimidate, track, and fight in equal measure, refined over a century into exactly what was standing in front of me. An animal built specifically to stand between a threat and the person it had decided was its responsibility, and to not weigh the odds before doing it. The first hostile rounded the corner and didn't see the dog until it was already moving. I want to be honest about what I saw, because the embassy report afterward tried to soften it into something cleaner than it was. Cassius did not fight fair, and he was not gentle, and he did not stop at the first hostile going down. He'd clearly decided, on his own, with no command from anyone, that every person coming down that corridor was a threat to the people behind the panic room door, and he treated each one exactly the same way until there weren't any left standing close enough to matter. I got the door open during the 4th exchange, while he was still working. I want to say I helped. Mostly I stood there with the override key in my shaking hand, watching an animal do, with total commitment and zero hesitation, the exact job I'd spent 2 years training to do and had frozen halfway through doing. By the time the embassy's actual security response arrived, 90 seconds later, the corridor was over. Cassius was bleeding from 3 places and refused to lie down until every person who'd been inside that panic room had walked past him, untouched, into the secured zone. Only then did he let the medics near him. The official incident report lists 6 hostiles neutralized, 3 staff members and 1 ambassador's family secured without injury, and 1 security override key correctly deployed by embassy personnel. It mentions the dog in a single line, near the bottom, almost as an afterthought. I keep a copy of that report in my desk. Every time I read it, I cross out my own name in that last sentence and write his instead. It's the only part of that night I got right the first time, knowing whose name actually belonged there.